Hello, welcome to the Open Operations Meetup. Today we have the topic CLOPS, the Cloud Operations Platform, and the presentation will be held by Dominic. Please go ahead.
Hi, I'm Dominic. I'm a DevOps engineer from Cloudical. I'm working there for 1 year now. But I did like cloud stuff and Docker and whatsoever, like for 6-7 years now. So it's kind of my daily business. And yeah, I will show you today CLOPS. It's basically a Helm chart that we built it at Cloudical. Mostly me and Daniel, a colleague. And the purpose of this Helm chart is like, I think every one of you knows about monitoring, and it's a big point in every production environment. And we have a lot of tools like the Kubernetes stack, Grafana, Promptail, Loki, stuff like that. And the most annoying thing about those tools is that you have to deploy every tool like for itself. So you don't have a big one Helm chart that deploys everything at once. So that's the reason we decided to create CLOPS Helm. I will share my screen. So you should see the GitHub page of CLOPS Helm. Okay, so we decided to create CLOPS Helm. It's basically a one Helm chart that deploys every other Helm charts you see here. So like everything is optional, so you don't have to deploy anything if you, for example, metric server is already installed, you can just disable it. I will show that later. And it's in version 1.0 right now. So we are constantly upgrading if we find the time. And we have also like described everything we can on this page. And the advantage of this Helm chart is that you don't have to like read every values file from every tool you want to install. So just for example, the Kubernetes stack values YAML file is about 4,000 lines long, and our values file is for every tool together, for all tools together, about 650 lines. So it's the most basic configuration, but it is working, and for the most scenarios, it is more than enough. And it's already configured that every tool is working with each other, so you don't have to deploy the domain you want to. Unfortunately, there's a little bug, so we have to deploy it on like different locations, but it's mentioned here. So we just deploy the domain, and we can roll it out, and it should work out of the box. That's all you have to do. And then you have a running CLOPS stack. So everything you see will be installed. I would just show it right out the box, so from scratch. So I would just clone the chart. And I would add the domain from my cluster. I have a test cluster just for this purpose. So like this. and that should do it. That's everything you have to do if you want to deploy the cluster. One thing for Loki, if I find it, S3 is the S3 cluster. So you don't have to use an S3 storage, but it's mostly recommended because the like Loki is writing a lot, and yeah, if you do it locally on a file system, it can work, but it's a little bit pain. So I wouldn't do that. That's the only thing I can show you because we only have one S3 cluster and I cannot share the credentials. So I have to do it on another screen. I will do that shortly. So you can look at my nice background. Just a moment. So
Sorry for the interruption. Mehdi, do you want to
yes.
speak or ask something?
You want to ask something regarding the storage.
So go ahead.
Okay. Regarding the storage backend, should we use only S3 objects, or can we use like PVC from other storage class?
Yeah,
Because I have a Ceph storage in my case, so can I use a persistent volume from Ceph storage and use it?
You mean for the Loki or in general?
Yeah, for Loki, yeah.
You can do that, but it's kind of
It is
slow.
recommended.
Yeah, it is recommended to use S3 because we tried it. We tried it with. We also use Ceph.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
we tried that, and it was not. It was really slow. I don't know if it was just us but Loki also says you should.
Okay, so for Ceph, have you validated the test with the RGW, because we can enable this function with the Ceph, so we can create a storage backend of object using Ceph, and we can do this. But I don't know if because it is sometimes there is an issue with compatibility, etc.
Yeah, we did that on
Okay.
a test environment, but
yeah, thank you, Christian, for the Keystone integration.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it is working.
Okay.
So you can use it, but it depends basically on your Ceph storage also. So if your Ceph storage is fast, it should be okay to use it.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Sure, no problem. So yeah, any other questions? I guess not. Okay. I am pretty done, so I can show you. So I have my test lab. It is running, and I don't have anything installed right now. So no metric server, nothing. And it should. You can just go to the to go and add the help chart repo. I did that already. So I have like 1 million of them. And then you just have to install like, I don't know, CLOPS monitoring. So, and that should I of course tested it, and it's pretty normal. So I can open another terminal and show you. The CLOPS monitoring namespace he's not creating. Yeah. So he's now deploying everything in this one namespace, and he's getting the TLS certificates, and it's pretty normal. Sometimes some pods crashes, but they come up afterwards. So just in any other big deployment, you sometimes have some crashes, but yeah, most of the time they resolve themselves. So we just have to wait a little bit. And when everything is ready, I can just go to the domains. They are predefined, but you can, if you want, you can change them, of course, inside the values YAML. And yeah, it tries a little bit. Copyright is, yeah, he needs the most of the time. So, okay, now everything is ready. It should work. So if I go now for example, alert manager, and then my that's not it. So I have now the basic authentication. I didn't change any passwords because I will destroy the cluster afterwards, so it doesn't matter. But the basic. So, and now I'm on the alert manager interface. So that is working. So same for example Grafana. And so Grafana. Also the same thing. It is working. I can log in with the default credentials, and I will show you that it's so. We have some default dashboards somewhere. Yeah, for example, the nodes dashboard. It shows you like the metrics of every node, and you see that the metrics are here. So metric server is working, Prometheus is working, Prometheus is sending the data to Grafana. So that seems to work. And it was that simple. Like I just edited the domain, installed it with Helm, and that's it. Now you have a totally basic monitoring setup. And it is, yeah, working from scratch like that. And that's basically it. This is CLOPS Helm. We also have a little script to update the Helm chart. I think it is not public yet, but we will, we will make it public after we fix some bugs, so everyone can, if he wants, contribute also. Yeah, I guess that's it. If you have any questions, you want to see some more, I don't know how much you know about the monitoring tools. I can also like talk a little bit more about the alert manager or Prometheus or something like that, if you want to know something. But I mean, the basic stuff is done. So this CLOPS, I really like this tool because most of the clusters need monitoring, and it's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. And yeah, we are just using the original Helm charts from those tools. So that's everything we are doing. Like you can see that in the chart YAML. The dependencies are just the the subcharts are just the original charts, like the, yeah. So, yeah, this is it. I don't know. Do you have any questions? Anything you want to know? Just speak. Yeah.
Kurt, go ahead.
Interesting stuff, Dominic. Thanks for showing us. I assume this has been in use for a while. So can you give us a feeling for how many clusters you monitor this way, how much effort you invest per cluster to kind of keep it under control and keep it monitored?
Yes, that's a good question. We have right now, I think, 3 or 4 clusters that we are monitoring. Let me count. I think 3 production clusters and 1 from ourselves. I mean, the efforts, the thing is, what our setup is, we have like a cluster just for monitoring, and everything is sending their data to this cluster. So that's the purpose of Promptail. You can define in Promptail how's it called? Jesus, I forgot it. Like external write or something like that. Remote write. That's the word. You can remote write receiver. Yeah, that's and then an external URL and everything is you can define if it is a receiver, and if it is a receiver, then it can receive like metrics from other clusters, and that's what we do. We defined our CLOPS cluster as the receiver, and we are writing every metrics to this one cluster. I mean, I could show you that. I can open it on a different monitor and can just have a look that no customers are exposed. But it's so. So that should do it. Yes. So one purpose is like the Loki and Promptail. So Loki is writing the logs locally, I guess. So it's scrapping the logs, and Promptail is sending the logs. So you can just go in Grafana and scratch logs. So maybe, I don't know, if you want from pods. Yeah, like a lot of pods from every cluster we are monitoring. So there are a lot of those. But you can also select. Where is it? Was it instance? No. Environment. So yeah, that's our environment. So it's more than 4. And you can just filter through the environments. There's a little bit tricky stuff with Prometheus, because Prometheus, if you don't provide an environment label, Prometheus is like complaining about that, and the logs are not working and stuff like that. But yeah, if you figure that out, it's pretty easy. We will provide a little bit more documentation on our GitHub about this, so it's more easy to collect data from different clusters. We have documentation about it, but not public yet. So we will do that. but it's really pretty easy. So you just define 3 or 4 variables, and then everything is collected in one cluster, and you can go on one page and collect everything you want. Like, for example, Loki are logs. So I just take the local cluster, so I don't expose anything. I can select a pod, I don't know, what about it here, the manager, and then you can query, and here you have like the logs from this specific pod. You can also choose every pod or whatever, and you can also filter. That's like for error, if you want to have errors. Okay, we now don't have errors. That's a good sign, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's, yeah, we use that for like half a year now, I guess. Something about this, around this. So we never had any issues regarding the Prometheus environment label bug. But yeah. So yeah, any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Have you also automated the integration of the tool stack with other Kubernetes clusters? So when I want to add a new cluster to the monitoring, when I have a fleet of a few hundreds of clusters, and I want to do a base monitoring of all of those clusters. So is this already possible, or do I have to find a way how to get my logs and my metrics and so on into the monitoring infrastructure?
It is not automated yet. It's on the like the roadmap. We want to do that because it shouldn't be that difficult. But yeah, that are famous last words. So let's see. But no, it's unfortunately not automated yet to integrate other clusters, like with one click or stuff. But we are working on it. So, some more questions?
Yes,
Yeah,
Martin.
Martin.
Oh, hello. Thank you for the presentation, for bringing this project to my attention, to my radar. And now the question, I briefly went through the settings of your of the components of the CLOPS project, and I saw that you spawned 2 replicas of Prometheus servers.
Yes.
By default, and my question is, how then tackle the duplication, maybe the replicas, or which instance is registered to the Grafana? Then if you spawn the two replicas, how you tackle these 2 replicas basically?
The Prometheus instance has a service, and the service is related to both instances, as far as I know. So it should. Pretty good question, to be honest. The thing about this is we use the. Isn't that default for Prometheus, 2 replicas? I thought it was default. We just use the default settings for most instances. And if you use the service, like, I mean, it should be. Yeah, no, that should be the Prometheus Stack Prometheus service. Yeah, and this one, I guess he's scraping one of those, and they were replicating the like the data. To be honest, I don't know the question what Prometheus he's referring to, but I know the service is referring to both, so to both replicas, and yeah, so that's and then I guess Prometheus is doing its Prometheus magic, and I don't know if they're like with primary and secondary. It's a good question. I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah,
Is anybody here who knows?
I can give some insights here. Yes, thank you for answering my question. Yeah, right now I see that obviously you use a service which do the service that does the load balancing between your two Prometheus servers, and the Grafana, when your Grafana sends a query to the service load balancing the query to one or to the another replica of your Prometheus. And this setup works in most cases, I would say, but could be tricky and could, in my opinion, could produce some unexpected behavior in your Grafana dashboards. So imagine the scenario when in one query the instance first is reached and ask for the metrics, and in another query the second one could be reached and ask for the metric, and short lags could be then observed in your Grafana dashboards. But basically this setup works, but yeah, could be tuned in the future, I would say.
No, it's a good point. I will put it on the roadmap or on the notes, so we can discuss it. Yeah, but no, good point. Thank you. It's version 1.0, so there's a lot to tune still. But I mean, like I said, for the most basic monitoring, it's working. It's pretty neat because you don't have to deploy like 7 tools or whatever.
Yeah, thank you for answering my question. I definitely look again into your project and maybe gather some settings from the CLOPS to our Prometheus settings and Grafana settings and so on and so forth. Looks nice. Thank you.
You're welcome to just add also issues or whatever on the GitHub. If you find anything or just thoughts like that, that's also like, yeah, it's welcome. Any other question? Okay.
Or additions or thoughts about CLOPS? If not, I will stop the recording.